yield the Chairman of the full committee my customary 5 minutes as Subcommittee Chair for his opening statement.
I thank the Chairman, and I thank him for his generosity with the opening statement. I, too, had thought this hearing would be about slightly different matters. But in recent days, the committee has become aware of what could be the greatest challenge to the SEC's credibility since Bernie Madoff managed to dupe so many Americans, steal so much money with his Ponzi scheme, and escape the proper scrutiny of the SEC for so long. As we have learned, in 2009, the former General Counsel, Mr. Becker, came to the SEC and informed the Chairman that he had a potential conflict of interest. We hope to learn exactly how that was expressed, but that, in fact, he had received, along with his siblings, $2 million that came from the liquidation of a Bernie Madoff fund in 2005. That would be serious enough that anyone would normally consider that he should be recused from any activity related to the Madoff after action. Notwithstanding that, Mr. Becker, feeling that this was, as we have understood it, a de minimis amount relative to his estate, in fact, not only continued to be involved, but was instrumental in having the SEC inserted into the process of trying to change how the determination of how much money would, in fact, be considered to be eligible to be retained by those who got their money out before the collapse versus how much would be clawed back for the greater good of all those involved and victimized by the Ponzi scheme. Had Mr. Becker's suggestions been taken, in fact, Mr. Becker's mother's estate of $2 million would have benefited, while all those who were there to the end and lost so much would have been victimized. The problem we are going to be probing into in this hearing, in addition to others, is can we trust an SEC where the process allows an individual to inform the chairwoman, to inform the ethics individual who actually reports to the General Counsel, and get effectively a clean bill of health, not to disclose and not to recuse, and even to be involved in an action that, had it been accepted, as our understanding is, by the trustee, would have led to a distortion of the process in favor of Mr. Becker's family. Now, we take Mr. Becker at his word that, in fact, he intended no wrong. We're willing to take factually that in 25 minutes, the ethics individual at SEC made a determination there was no problem and stuck by it. We're willing to hear the chairwoman out here today. What we're not willing to do as a committee that deals in waste, fraud, and abuse, and as a committee of Congress, all of us being concerned a great deal about the confidence in what the SEC represents in its oversight and its fairness and its competence, we're not willing to accept that this can ever happen again. So, Mr. Chairman, I'm not going to presume any facts not yet in evidence. So far, we only have a limited amount of reports, a clawback procedure against Mr. Becker, and Mr. Becker's own interview here with some of our investigators. Today we have an opportunity to listen to the chairwoman, to realize that, in fact, she inherited an organization that had known flaws, that her independent agency has, in fact, been the subject of the President's attention and her attention, and that we have not yet high confidence, but high hope that, in fact, the SEC will live up to its mandate, not just of having a complex web of rules that tell public companies that if their own child works for a company, they can't really be outside or independent officers, directors of the company. Or, for example, what a conflict is to the people who oversee, who can be on the compensation committee, who can't. It's a complex business, but it relies on a belief that the rules are necessary, they're implemented in a sensible way, uniformly, and that they're for a purpose. I believe as we look further into the Becker matter, we're going to find the SEC failed to have the highest level of care so that public confidence could be maintained. I can find no way out of this. I hope today we at least understand how this mistake came to happen. Mr. Chairman, once again, thank you for holding this important